100x ROAS, 1000x return on ad spend. I'm the best advertiser in the world. I'm going to post screenshots. I'm going to make ads about how good my return on ad spend is. We have all seen this. I have seen it a bajillion times. When I first started my journey in paid advertising 10 years ago, I was seeing screenshots like this, 100x ROAS, 1000x ROAS. I was like, oh my gosh, man, I gotta get that for my clients. And over the last 10 years, it's happened a few times, but it's always a fluke. And I'm going to explain why. And it's never consistently doable at scale to get return on ad spends like this, guys. If you're sitting here and you've seen the screenshots, man, you've seen the ads, 1000x ROAS, 100x ROAS, and you can't get that, and you look like this cat, and you're like, bruh, what am I doing wrong? You are not doing anything wrong. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to explain to you why huge claims of massive return on ad spends aren't a lie. They do exist and they are possible, but they're not repeatable at scale. And more often than not, when you see claims like that, it is from a very small sample size in data or a very small amount of ad spend. The global average return on ad spend for Google Ads is 3.5x. You might be thinking, well, that's not very good, 3.5x. I want more than that. It's pretty good, I think. Like, if you could put $1 into the stock market and get $3.50 back, you would be pretty happy with that. And that is the case for Google Ads. That's what Google themselves say. Of all the data they have on all their advertisers, average, if you put $1 in, you get $3.50. Say you're a hardscaping company or a landscaping company. You spend $500 on ads in a brand new campaign. You just launched it. You get a couple leads. One of them turns into a $20,000 job. That's a 40x return on ad spend. If you're an agency that did that, or you're just a Google Ads person, you are laughing all day. You're taking screenshots of that. You're flexing it on your Instagram story. You're making case studies. I got a 40x ROAS. I'm the best advertiser in the world. But it's a brand new account. You only spent $500. If you scale that account over a year, 2 years, you get it up to $10,000, $100,000 in ad spend. It is extremely unlikely that your 40x return on ad spend holds true when you scale your ad spend across an account over a year, a couple of years, even a few months. If you scale that account over time to $10,000 in spend, more likely than not, your ROAS is going to drop down towards a more normal established ROAS of like maybe a 5, which again is still pretty good. You're above the average global ROAS for Google Ads, but you're not at a 40 return on ad spend anymore. So one lucky job in the beginning is typically how people get screenshots like this and how people make claims that they have these massive, humongous return on ad spend, because it has happened in the very beginning and they have spent a very low amount of money, but it's a high ticket service. They close one job. It creates a massive, temporarily massive return on ad spend. Why the math never plays out for this to be repeatable at scale is because of the law of diminishing returns. This is a very real thing that applies to life, investing, business, farming, pretty much everything. And what the law of diminishing returns states is that adding more of one production input, in this case, ad spend, while holding all other inputs constant, like number of workers, your margin, etc., eventually yields smaller and smaller extra gains in output. So in the world of paid advertising, what that means is the more money you spend, you are going to get a smaller return on ad spend. That is the number one reason why huge ROAS claims almost always come from very low spend, because at the beginning, if you launch ads in a brand new Facebook ad account or you just launch Google Ads, you are capturing the highest intent leads. But that demand is finite, okay? There's not an infinite number of people in your service area that are ready to buy from you at any given time. So after you capture all of that initial demand, you have to spend more to a broader audience, which drives up your cost per click, drives up your cost per lead, and in return, your return on ad spend becomes lower. You will almost never see huge enterprise accounts that are spending millions of dollars per month at a massive ROAS, because the math just doesn't work that way, guys. The law of diminishing returns says the more you spend, your ROAS is going to fall. And I'll say it again. That's like the number one reason why when you see these huge ROAS claims, it comes here at the beginning when ad spend is quite low. You scale that ad spend, the return on that ad spend is going to drop. That is just simple math. It's how the math works. Now let's look at two different accounts. And I want to talk about why ROAS is not the ultimate number that you should be chasing, okay? So account A, they spent $1,000 on ads. They somehow pulled out $100,000 in revenue from that $1,000 ad spend. Must be like a huge pool company, Hardscape or something like that, okay? Anyways, 100x return on ad spend. Oh my God, I'm the best at ads ever. You got $99,000 left after you pay for your ad spend. Company B, they're spending $100,000 on ads. They pull out $500,000 in revenue from that. That's a 5x return on ad spend. After they pay for their ad spend, they got $400,000 left. What company are you guys choosing here? I hope that you're going to choose company B, because even though they have a way lower return on ad spend, they got way more money left after they pay for that ad spend, right? But guys, that's not it. There is so much more to this equation. ROAS means absolutely nothing without any context. So now let's do that exact same example, those same companies, same ad spends, but now we have context about their net margin. This is the piece of the equation that actually matters, okay? ROAS without this doesn't matter. Same thing, company A, $1,000 ad spend, they made $100,000 in revenue, it's 100x ROAS, amazing. They have a 50% net margin. So after they pay for their ad spend, they have $99,000 left. But then after their 50% net margin, they have $49,500 left. Let's just call it $50,000 for the sake of simplicity for this video. Company B, same thing. They spent $100,000. They made $500,000 in revenue. They have a 5x return on ad spend. They have a 15% net margin. So after they pay for their ad spend, they have $400,000 left. But after their 15% margin, they have $60,000 left in the bank. Now what company are you choosing? This is actually a really difficult question, okay? If you're simply looking at the numbers, you're like, oh, I'm going to choose company B because they made $10,000 more at the end of the day. But how much more work was it to service $500,000 in revenue versus service $100,000 in revenue? I don't know. Like, is this one job that created $100,000 in revenue for company A? Is it 10 jobs? Is it one job for company B that was worth $500,000 in revenue? Like, what is the cost? The cost I mean in this sense is like the mental strain, the logistics of it all. If it was like astronomically more work and more stress to be company B, then obviously I'm going to choose company A, and I would choose to make $10,000 less if I could be less stressed. It was way less of an operational headache. But if this was like a pretty easy $500,000 to service for company B and company A was like an absolute nightmare, then obviously I'm choosing company B because, yeah, we had more net profit at the end of the day, but it was also easier for us to service that work, right? So that's why net margin is like the piece of the equation that actually matters, okay? When you guys are just seeing ROAS, it's like you don't know the full story. You can see a ROAS of 100x and that company is still not profiting, right? Or you can see a ROAS of 5x and be like, oh, that's not very good. But that company is extremely profitable. That's what you guys need to be doing, is thinking about what's your net margin on all this, okay? Sure, your ROAS matters, but how much money you have in the bank after you service that work, after you pay your people, after you pay your taxes, how much money you got left? That is what allows you to determine, does this ROAS make sense? Do I need a higher ROAS? What do I need to fix in this big equation to have paid ads actually makes sense for me? If 100x ROAS was consistently scalable, the world would be a really, really different place. The law of diminishing returns is why having huge ROAS numbers is not repeatable and consistent at scale, and why your net margin is really the only thing that matters in this whole equation, guys. If you're an agency, if you're someone running Google Ads, your business, you're running your own Google Ads, don't just look at your ROAS. You got to look at what your net margin is at the end of the day. So if you guys want to learn how we run all of our Google Ads for our agency, how we set up all of our tracking to be able to actually see these numbers, like if you guys don't have good tracking, you can't even see your ROAS and how are you going to possibly do any of these calculations. So we'll show you how to set up all your tracking, all of your ads, optimize all of your ads. It's a free community. There's over 1,000 people in there that are all running Google Ads. If you want to join that, there's a link in the description of this video. Click it, sign up. It's free. show you how we run all of our Google ads, how we do all this tracking. So that's it for this video, guys. Stop chasing a flashy ROAS number for a screenshot and start chasing money in the bank and figure out what makes sense for your business.